Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa. The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register.
Welcome to Machakos County, right in the heart of Ukambani. I am your host, Mariam Bishar, and this is the Great Debaters Contest.
I am Austin Yumbok. We have Machakos Girls versus Kaani Lions. Their motion is, gender equality is an ideal that can never be achieved.
First proposer, you have 3 minutes.
My name is Kate Njambi Wanjiru from the Machakos Girls High School, and I would like to take this opportunity to propose a motion that states gender equality is an ideal that can never be achieved. First of all, what is gender equality? Gender equality can also be referred to as the equality of the sexes. This is a situation where you find that both male and female are regarded as equals and are given similar treatments. Seriously speaking, people, we find that this can never be achieved due to certain reasons. First of all, we find that traditions die hard. This is to mean that some traditional practices are not easily left behind. Such practices include traditionally, we find that the woman is undermined, and even in the distribution of duties, we find that the man is given more superior duties such as guarding a house and even leadership. For a good example is the Kamba community, where you find the Idhome was mostly joined by the men, and whereas the women were left in the home to fend for the children, cook, and even fetch firewood. These notions and these practices are being carried into the modern society, where you find till date some communities still find that the woman is lesser superior than the man. Secondly, you find that societal beliefs and dictates. There are certain things that society believes and expects, and while others are not expected. For example, in matters concerning marriage, we find that the man is one who pays dowry, and after dowry has been paid, the woman is believed to be owned by the man, body and soul. Therefore, we find due to this, the woman is believed to be lesser superior than the man. We also find that the society, there is a common saying that a man is not expected to cry. We see that this saying weakens the woman and brings out the woman as a weaker and a being that is controlled by emotions. Thirdly, we have the economical aspect. This is whereby the majority of the seats in the working community, for example, in a country like Kenya, we find that majority of the working people consist of the male. A good example is our judges panel. We find that there are 2 men and 1 lady. We also find that in homes, we mostly have housewives and not house husbands. How many of us have ever heard about house husbands? Thirdly, we have the political aspect. Here is a situation whereby, a political aspect. Here's a situation we find that a majority of the seats in parliament are owned by the man. For example, the constitution says that a third of the seats should be allocated to the women. Why not a half? Why shouldn't the women own half? Why should the man and the woman not own half to half of the seats in the parliament?
Opposition, you have 3 minutes for your opening statements.
My name is Pauline Mwangi, Kaani Lions, and I would like to oppose this motion which says gender equality is an ideal that can never be achieved, by saying that it can be achieved due to the following reasons. It has now been realized that one's intellect is not based on one's gender. In Kenya today, we find that there are many women who have academically excelled in fields that were considered to be for men. Picture this out. We have Mother Karua. She is now a lawyer. Even the late Professor Wangari Maathai was the first African female to be given scholarship in abroad to study botany. On to my next point. we have male chauvinism. Men have learned to accept women as co-leaders. Like, for instance, in the parliament nowadays, we find that there are women who are standing for particular ministries. Like the Minister of Foreign Affairs, we have Amina Mohammed. Also, in sports, we find that both male and female bring awards to our country, that is gold medals. We find that those male and female, they are all equal, therefore they promote our country. In my conclusion, it is that it is possible that gender equality can be achieved, even if it is in the near future. Thank you.
We'll hear rebuttals now, beginning with the proposition. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Jemima Olo from the Machakos Girls High School. I'm here to strongly propose a motion that says gender equality is an ideal that can never be achieved. First, I'd like to object a point that was passed across. You're saying that females are now venturing into careers that were thought to be men, like the sports ministers and Amina Mohammed, but they're traditional diehards. What is the ratio of female presidents to male presidents? On to my first point. Physics and nature. According to simple biology, we see that the male gender is considered to be more masculine. Hence, they are suited for certain tasks that require energy. For example, construction, military work. And we also see that in the room that we're seated in, honestly speaking, the men here look as hard as diamond, and the females here look as ripe as tomato. They look as fragile as a ripe tomato, honestly speaking, because the male gender are considered to be muscular and they can do hard tasks. On to my next point. We see that the men have intensified their fight in maintaining the already high status quo. Most of the time we see our world is male dominated. Where are the women at this time? They have seen themselves and they have seen themselves as a lesser gender. Until that time when the women consider themselves as an important gender, gender equality will never, ever be achieved. On to my third point. In the political forum, I'd like to emphasize on that point. Why is it that we can't be given a half of the parliamentary seat? Does it necessarily mean that the men are better? Of course, that can't be there. If we're saying that the woman should be allocated a third, it means that the woman doesn't belong to the community. It's the male gender that is mostly considered in the community. It is considered that the female has no place. In the traditional community, we see that the woman's place was in the kitchen. And this is not so these days. The male are feeling like they are being opposed and oppressed. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes.
I, Cynthia Anyango from Kaani Lions, would like to oppose the motion that says gender equality is an ideal that can never be achieved. Gender equality is an ideal that can be achieved. First things first, I would like to correct what my fellow opponent had said. She had defined for us that gender equality is the equality of both sexes. No, it is the gender equality means it's the social, political, and economic equality of both sexes. My fellow opponent had said that men pay bride price to the female. Now, in India, we have boys being paid dowry by the women. This is gender equality. And in addition to what my fellow groups had said, it is evident that women are now taking roles that were considered for men. We have preachers like Joyce Meyer, Margaret Wanjiru, who have succeeded in their work of preaching. Isn't this gender equality? Also, with the number of women in position of leadership who have excelled in education in the presence of technology like internet, have made the society and women in particular to be able to get informed about their roles in the society and how they can be able to use the available resources so that they can become the leaders of their countries. Like we have the leader of Liberia. She is a female. Her Excellency Salif. This is gender equality. This is a good step towards achieving gender equality. That is why I strongly and firmly oppose the motion that says that gender equality is an ideal that can never be achieved. Thank you.
The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register. The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register.
The proposition have been asked, why do we have programs for empowering the girl child if gender equality is an ideal that cannot be achieved? And the opposition have been challenged to justify how paying of dowry for men in India adds up to gender equality. We'll have them respond. Third proposer, you have 3 minutes.
I am Joy Ivy from the Machakos Girls High School. To your question, why is there empowerment of the girl child if gender equality cannot be achieved? Now, this is the problem, gender specialization. Many people, attempts have been made by some organizations to empower a certain gender, neglecting another gender. For example, there are cut points. For example, for you to get to the university, you find that the pass mark, the pass grade for the girls is lower than for the boys. Now, this is misbalance. You find that we are neglecting the boy child in attempts to help the girl child. We also see that during shopping, why is it that girls have to have more shopping than boys? Boys are told, hey, you can survive. There's gender inequality by trying to empower the girl. My own point, religious beliefs, cultures, and practices, we find that most religious leaders are males and not females. For example, go to many religious, let's say temples, churches, a man will go and say, I have come with my wife, let my wife come and say hi. It's not in most cases that we find the lady who is a religious leader. Also in most of the religious literature, we find that woman was created to be a man's helper. And so that gives the guy a step on to see himself as the superior and the lady as the inferior. We also have societal beliefs. There was this slogan, my dress, my choice. You know, the society expects the ladies to uphold themselves with a very high dignital standard. If a lady puts a mini, that is seen as a very, it's not something moral. But guys can walk shirtless. People can go sagging their trousers. If a man walks shirtless, a passerby will just say, hey, that's a madman, leave him alone. But a lady, if she walks indecent, if she is indecently dressed, many people might strip her, condemn her. Ladies are expected to uphold high social standards. An opposer also said that ladies are being given seats in the parliament. They are taking a third of the seats. Ladies are being given roles that are very inferior. A women rep, they are seen like they can only control their fellow women. Ladies are being given inferior roles. The gents are taking high roles, the governors, most of the presidents. We only have one female president. This is a clear indication of gender inequality. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to respond to the audience.
I'm Michelle Nkada from Kaani Lions. In paying the bride price, I would say that to promote the equality of the both sexes, we have to ensure that both the family of the women and the family of the man should pay the bride price. This is because when the family of a man gives bride price, it shows that the woman is being given for free. Am I to be given for free with the education that a parent gives the child? Does that mean that the child should be given free? No. So I want to say that in my conclusion, if we want to make the gender equality, we should all ensure that both sides pay the bride price to ensure that the both parents from the same side feel appreciated. Also, I would like to say that it's not a must that you have said that my fellow opponents here, they have said that the women are being given seats in the parliament. They are not given for free. They are elected or nominated. That's all I had.
We'll hear closing submissions now. Proposition, you have a minute.
In conclusion, I would like to clearly state that it is rather obvious gender equality can never, ever be achieved. It's not even close to being achieved. Let's not live in a fantasy world that male and female can be equal. Instead, we should all embrace ourselves the way we are, love and appreciate each other with both genders, because sincerely, gender equality can never be achieved. Not then, not now, and definitely, without any reasonable doubt, not in the years to come.
Opposition, you have a minute as well for your closing statements.
Just as people say, a dream is a dream, but it can become a reality if we put endless efforts towards achieving that dream. So, I want to oppose this motion that says gender equality is an ideal that can never be achieved, because it can be achieved if only we put endless efforts towards achieving it, even if it is in the near future. Thank you.
To the two teams, what we needed was one organization. Organize your points, look at it in terms of political, maybe arena, maybe leadership positions. Look at other areas that you want to talk about, If you want to say that it has been achieved, you have examples. You might not have 50 presidents, for example, or 50 women in the political arena, but you could have 2 or 3 and say, look here, this is an achievement. 2 years, 3 years from now, we are going to have women occupying these particular positions. Learn to maximize on your arguments. And therefore, the argument here is that women, with time, are overtaking men, even in the literary circles. I believe you could have a lot to say only if you had organized your points and segment your arguments. Look at it in terms of various areas. Then you could have won the debate. There were a lot of pedestrian arguments, simplistic kind of reasoning, which cannot make you win a debate. So try next time to build a case that we can buy. Fair debate.
Machakos girls were to show us how that ideal cannot be achieved. The arguments that you gave were rather pedestrian, for lack of a better term. I think you focused on very trivial issues. The shopping for girls is more than that for boys. At this level, we really need high-level debates. And, that for me was missing. When we talk about women's reps, for example, women's reps are supposed to articulate issues concerning women in the various counties that they are at. And the reason why that is important is because for a long time, issues that touch on women have not been given the due attention that they deserve. And so when you say that, look, they cannot even be anything, that's why they appoint women's reps to just, be there to represent women. I think that's a very pedestrian way of looking at the role of women's reps within the devolved system of government. There are very many instances that you could have drawn, to articulate your fact, whatever it is that you're saying. And so going forward, you want to really look at what are the issues and how can you use relevant examples to be able to put your points across. When you say there's only one female president, that's not true. Okay, so you need to check, you need to verify your sources, check your facts, and ensure that when you're coming to the debate that you are informed so that you do not struggle through the motion. All the best.
To the numbers now. Machakos Girls and Kaani Lion School, you have tied at 60%. Please give both teams a round of applause.
Very well. Congratulations to the two teams, and we thank our audience for participating and also our viewers back home. We want to thank you for watching and urge you to follow us on social media at Great Debaters EA. I'm Austin Yombok.
And I am Mariam Bashar. Keep watching the show.
The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register. The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.